All right, everyone. Get ready for a deep dive into something you might not expect Six Sigma, but for your life.
Yeah, you heard that right.
We're taking this concept that's usually, all about business and making things more efficient,
Right.
and we're going to see if we can use it to help us find our purpose, reach our goals,
Mm.
even just feel less stressed.
It sounds kind of crazy.
I know, right? When I first heard about it, I was like, what?
I get it.
But then I started reading this book
Oh, yeah.
by Ceylon Guclu. It's called Designing Your Best Life.
Okay.
It's available on Amazon, by the way, if you want to check it out.
Kindle and paperback.
Yeah, Kindle and paperback, yeah. I'll put a link in the description, too.
Perfect.
But what surprised me is this isn't just another boring business book.
Right.
Guclu actually makes Six Sigma, relatable,
Yeah, he does.
even kind of inspiring.
He does a great job in the preface talking about how he was obsessed with electricity as a
Oh,
kid.
yeah, that's right.
Like rewiring lamps when he was 8 years old.
Wow.
Like already wanted to understand how things work and make them better.
It's like that's his superpower origin story, right?
Totally. And that curiosity and that drive for improvement, that's what drives the whole book.
I love that. Okay, so for anyone who's maybe not familiar with Six Sigma,
Yeah.
what is it like in plain English?
Okay, so Six Sigma, at its heart, it's a set of tools and techniques to find and eliminate waste,
Okay,
whether that's wasted time, wasted effort, or wasted resources.
so not just about like a factory, right?
Right, exactly. And what's cool is you can apply these principles to anything in life.
Okay,
Your career, relationships, health.
so how do we actually do that?
He walks you through a process. It's called DMAISC.
DMASC.
Yeah. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control.
Okay.
So let's say you're feeling stuck in your job.
Mm-hmm.
First, you define what a fulfilling career means to you.
Right, not just like what other people expect, yeah.
Exactly. Then you measure your skills, interests, your values.
Okay. Then analyze where you are and where you want to be, then brainstorm how to improve.
So it's like a personalized roadmap using this proven system.
Exactly. And the control part.
Yeah.
That's about putting systems in place to stay on track.
Oh, okay.
It's like having an accountability partner.
I like that. So it's about setting smart goals too, right?
Yes. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot in personal development. But this book
Yeah.
actually shows you how to use Six Sigma to reach those goals.
Yes, and he introduces this Japanese concept. It's called ikigai,
Ikigai.
often translated as reason for being.
Mm.
And it's about finding that perfect spot where your passions and what you're good at
Yeah.
and what you can be paid for all come together.
I have to admit, when I first heard about Ikigai, I was like,
Yeah,
is this just another buzzword?
sure.
But the way Guclu explains it,
Yep.
it just clicked.
Yeah.
It's not just about work.
It's about finding purpose in all areas of your life.
And he doesn't just throw this abstract concept at you.
Right.
He uses the DMAIC process to actually help you define and achieve your own Ikigai.
So asking yourself, what am I good at?
Exactly.
What do I love to do? What does the world need?
Yes, and what can I be paid for?
That's a lot to think about.
It is, but if you find that intersection,
Yeah,
you won't just be successful.
right.
You'll be fulfilled.
But that's what we all want, right?
Exactly.
One thing that really struck me
Yeah.
was that designing your best life isn't about being perfect.
No, it's not about having that perfect Instagram life.
It's about, embracing the messiness.
Yes, the ups and downs, the setbacks, all of it.
Because that's real life.
Exactly.
And it's not about becoming like a robot.
No, definitely not.
It's about using these tools to be more intentional
And to have more clarity.
so you can handle those curveballs life throws at you
Exactly.
without, totally losing it.
He even talks about how Six Sigma can help you reduce stress by creating systems and routines that create more order. Think about it. If you're always feeling overwhelmed
Right.
by clutter or, just lack of control over your time,
Yeah.
that's stressful.
Makes sense.
But using these principles can streamline your life.
Okay, so it frees up mental space and energy then
Exactly.
to focus on what matters.
And that's the power of this book.
It's not just about, external success. It's about creating a life
Yeah.
that feels right for you,
Aligned.
purposeful.
Yes.
So I'm convinced that Six Sigma can be helpful for personal development.
Great.
But can we get into specifics?
Yeah.
How does this all actually play out in like real life.
Okay, let's start with health.
Okay.
That's something we all know is super important,
Right.
but can easily neglect.
Absolutely.
So we'll see how Guclu uses these principles to actually help us achieve our health goals.
And feel amazing doing it.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
So we've talked about how Six Sigma can work for personal development,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool concept.
but now let's get into the nitty-gritty
Okay.
and look at a specific area where I think a lot of us could use some help. Health and wellness.
Health, yeah, it's one of those things we all know is important,
Right.
but it's so easy to let it slide when things get crazy.
Totally.
So how does Six Sigma actually help us make health a priority?
Well, one thing Guclu does really well is show how to apply those Six Sigma principles,
Hey, that's right.
about reducing waste,
Yeah.
but not just about cutting out junk food or something.
Oh, okay.
It's about being aware of all kinds of waste.
Right.
Wasted time,
Hmm.
wasted effort,
Okay.
wasted energy.
Okay, I see. So it's like a broader view of how we're using our resources.
Exactly.
But how do we even measure waste when it comes to health?
That's a good question.
It's not like we can just count up defects like in a factory.
Right. It's not that simple. Guclu suggests starting by figuring out what healthy even means to you,
Okay.
because it's going to be different for everyone.
Right.
For some people, it might be about losing weight.
Sure.
For others, maybe having more energy,
Yeah.
or managing stress,
Yeah.
or just feeling good in your own skin.
So step one is define your own version of healthy.
Exactly. And then you use data to track your progress.
Okay.
This is where the whole data-driven part of Six Sigma comes in.
Right.
You're not just guessing, you're actually tracking things.
Right.
Your sleep patterns, what you eat, how much you exercise, even how your clothes fit.
That part sounds a little intimidating, to be honest.
I hear you, but don't worry.
Okay.
Guclu gives you a really helpful health tracker spreadsheet.
Okay.
It's in the book, and it makes it really easy to, gather all this data and look for patterns.
Oh, that makes me feel better. I can handle a spreadsheet.
It helps you see your habits and where even small changes could make a difference.
So we're not talking about like a crazy diet or something.
No.
It's about small, continuous improvements.
Yes. Remember, 1% better every day.
That's right.
Even tiny tweaks can add up over time.
He uses that compound interest analogy, right?
He does. It's powerful. You don't have to change your whole life overnight to see results.
It's those small, sustainable changes that really matter in the long run.
Exactly.
One thing I really like about his approach is that he's not into all the fads.
Yeah, the wellness industry can be a bit much sometimes.
Totally. There's always a new miracle cure.
Right.
But Guclu focuses on the basics.
The fundamentals.
Good nutrition, enough sleep, managing stress.
And finding what works for you.
Not what some influencer is selling.
Exactly. He even uses this analogy about communicating with your cells.
Yeah, I remember that. It was a little quirky.
It is.
But it makes you think.
It's insightful, right?
Like, what does your body really need?
Yeah, your cells need good stuff, a good environment, good neighbors.
Meaning avoiding things that harm your cells.
Right, like it's all connected.
Okay, so we've defined our goals, we're tracking things,
Yeah.
we're making small changes.
Right.
But what about the mental and emotional side of it all?
Oh, that's important.
How do we stay motivated and not fall back into bad habits?
Well, that's where the measurement and feedback part of Six Sigma helps.
Okay.
Guclu is all about celebrating small wins.
Oh, I like that.
That's not just about the finish line.
You got to enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Yes.
Acknowledge those victories along the way.
So, like, treat yourself after a week of good workouts.
Exactly.
Or just notice how much better you feel after cutting back on sugar.
Exactly. Reinforce those good habits.
Keep that momentum going.
He also talks about how important it is to deal with that negative self-talk.
Oh, yeah, that inner critic. We all have one.
We do. And he gives you ways to challenge those thoughts and create a more supportive inner voice.
So we're not just using Six Sigma for our physical health, but our mental and emotional health, too.
It's about a holistic approach.
Seeing how everything is connected.
Exactly.
This is really eye-opening. I'm starting to see how Six Sigma can work in all parts of our lives.
It's a pretty versatile framework.
So speaking of versatile,
Yeah.
let's talk about finances.
Okay, yeah.
I think most of us wish we had a better handle on our money.
For sure.
So how does Six Sigma help us with that?
Well, Guclu says financial independence isn't just for rich people.
That's good to hear.
He thinks anyone can achieve it if they have a plan and the discipline to follow it.
Okay, that sounds good in theory.
Yeah.
But where do we even start? Personal finance can be so overwhelming.
You're right, it can be. But Guclu breaks it down into steps,
Okay.
just like with everything else. He says the first step is understanding where you're at financially.
Okay. So knowing your income, expenses, all that.
Exactly. He suggests creating a family financial statement.
Oh, interesting. Like a business would do.
Right. To get a clear picture of your financial health.
So it's not just about budgeting. It's about understanding the big picture.
Right. From there, you can analyze your spending habits.
See where the money's going.
Exactly. And then create a budget that actually aligns with what you value and what your goals are.
You know, a lot of people think budgeting is restrictive.
I know, but Guclu says a good budget isn't about depriving yourself.
Oh, okay.
It's about being intentional with your money.
So you can still enjoy life,
Exactly.
but also make progress towards your goals.
Right. He even gives you a budgeting template in the book to get you started.
That's helpful.
But he also goes beyond just basic budgeting.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about building multiple income streams.
Oh, the emplopreneur concept.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite parts.
Me too.
He wants us to think outside that 9-to-5 box
Yeah.
and find ways to make money using our skills and passions.
So like freelancing.
Yeah, or starting a side hustle.
Oh.
Or investing in real estate, or even creating passive income.
Like online courses.
Exactly. He gives tons of ideas.
And resources.
Yeah, he wants you to get creative.
Okay, this is really starting to make sense. But what about the mental side of money?
Oh, that's a big one.
Money can be such a loaded topic.
Definitely. He talks about developing an abundance mindset.
Okay, so believing there's enough to go around.
Right, instead of feeling like there's not enough.
Because when you're focused on what you don't have,
Yeah,
it's hard to make good decisions.
exactly. And he gives tips for shifting your perspective about money.
To be more positive.
Yes. And he also talks about surrounding yourself with supportive people
Oh, that's important.
who are also focused on financial growth.
It's a good reminder that we're not in this alone.
Right. There are others out there trying to create a better life.
I really appreciate that Guclu doesn't shy away from the emotional side of money.
Yeah, he gets it.
He knows it can be tough.
He encourages us to be patient with ourselves.
Yeah, it's a journey.
It is.
This has been fantastic. We've seen how Six Sigma can be used for our health and our finances.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
But we've only scratched the surface of the book.
There's a lot more to explore.
Well, in the next part, we're going to dive into work-life balance.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll see how to use Six Sigma to manage our careers and personal lives.
So we can feel more aligned and less stressed.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the deep dive. I don't know about you, but after that last part, I'm thinking, all right, maybe I can get a grip on my finances.
Right. It's a good feeling.
It is. But now let's talk about another thing that can feel like a constant struggle. Work-life balance.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
It is. Trying to manage work, family, friends.
All these goals?
Yeah. And maybe even a side hustle. It can be a lot.
It really can. And Guclu gets that. He actually starts this part of the book by saying that perfect work-life balance might not even be a real thing.
Interesting. You mean like it's a myth?
Kinda, yeah. Life's messy. Things change. Priorities shift. There are always going to be times when one area needs more attention.
So it's not about having like a perfectly equal split between work and life.
No, not really. It's more about having a system that lets you, adapt when things change.
Okay, so how does Six Sigma help us do that?
Well, just like with anything else, the first step is to define what balance means to you.
Oh, okay. So figure out what's important.
Exactly. What are your non-negotiables? What do you absolutely have to make time for?
And like how much time and energy can you realistically give to each area?
Right. It's about knowing your values and priorities that we talked about with health and finances.
Got it. So what's next?
Then it's time to measure what your reality actually is.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Guclu says to track your time for a week, everything you do.
Everything.
Yeah. Work stuff, meetings, family time,
Okay.
even like scrolling on your phone or watching TV. Just get a real picture of where your time is going.
I've tried that before, and it can be kind of scary.
It can, but it's eye-opening too.
You realize how much time you waste on things that don't really matter.
Totally. And once you have that data, you can see where the imbalances are.
Like maybe you're working late even when you don't need to.
Right, or maybe you're neglecting your relationships because of work.
Or spending way too much time on your phone when you could be doing something fun.
Exactly. So once you see those things, Then you can start using those Six Sigma improvement
So
strategies.
that's where we make changes, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Things like setting boundaries, prioritizing tasks,
Okay.
and creating systems that help you manage your time better.
So maybe blocking off time on your calendar for family,
Yeah, or turning off email notifications after a certain time.
or delegating tasks you don't have to do yourself,
Right. It's about being proactive with your time and energy,
instead of just reacting to whatever comes at you all day.
which is how most of us live, right? But Guclu reminds us that we actually have the power to choose how we spend our time.
We can create routines that support the life we want to live.
Exactly.
This is making me think I need to do some serious reorganizing.
It's something we all have to work on, for sure. But with Six Sigma, it's not about being perfect. It's about continuous improvement.
Right, that 1% better every day idea. So
Mm.
even if we don't get it right all the time,
Yeah.
we can keep making those little adjustments.
And over time, those small changes can make a huge difference in your life.
Wow, this has been such a great conversation. We've talked about health, finances.
Work-life balance.
It's amazing how these Six Sigma ideas can be used for so many things. But what about the bigger picture? Personal growth and fulfillment.
That's where Kaizen comes in.
Kaizen.
Yeah, it's the Japanese idea of continuous improvement. Guclu says this mindset can be used for everything in our lives, not just the practical stuff. It's about always trying to learn and grow
So it's about setting goals and breaking them down into steps.
and consistently taking action, even when it's hard.
It's about embracing the journey of becoming a better version of ourselves.
Exactly. And it's also important to celebrate those small wins along the way.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Because it takes time to reach big goals.
it does. If we don't acknowledge those little steps forward.
It's easy to get discouraged.
Exactly. Guclu reminds us that real change happens slowly,
One step at a time.
through those consistent actions day after day. It's like that compound interest analogy again. Those small efforts can really add up over time.
This is so inspiring. It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day and forget what we're really trying to build.
It happens to all of us. But Guclu is saying we have the power to design our lives.
We don't have to just go with the flow.
We can choose what we want and make it happen.
That's a powerful message, taking ownership of our choices and our lives.
And that's what makes Designing Your Best Life such a great book. It's a guide to creating a life that feels right for you.
I love that. Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to thank you for sharing all these insights.
Our pleasure.
And for everyone listening, if you're feeling stuck or just need a new perspective on personal growth, I highly recommend checking out Designing Your Best Life by Ceylan Guclu. You can find it on Amazon. We'll put the link in the description.
And remember, any journey, even a journey to design your best life, starts with that first step. What small thing can you do today to start moving in the right direction?
That's a great question to think about. And with that, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for listening.